You're standing in line at Starbucks. Again, it's 7:45 a.m. on a Tuesday, and you're about to spend $4.75 on a grande latte because honestly, you deserve it. You worked late yesterday, you've got a tough meeting this morning, and it's just coffee, right? I mean, it's not like you're buying a car every morning. It's literally less than $5. Here's the thing though, and I want you to really hear this. That seemingly harmless daily purchase is quietly stealing your financial future. And I'm not talking about some Dave Ramsey stop buying lattes rant. This is way more insidious than you think. My name is Guy, and I spend way too much time thinking about the invisible ways we sabotage our own wealth. If you're someone who makes decent money but somehow never seems to get ahead financially, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. So let's talk about the $3 daily habit. Now, I'm using coffee as the example here, but this applies to literally anything you buy routinely without thinking. Your lunch out every day, that energy drink, the convenient parking spot, the streaming service you forgot you had, whatever. The specific habit doesn't matter. What matters is understanding what's actually happening to your money. Look, most people who've heard any personal finance advice at all know the basic math, right? $3 a day times 365 days equals about $1,095 a year. And sure, $1,000 is $1,000. That's not nothing. You could take a nice vacation with that. But honestly, $1,000 a year isn't going to change your life. This is where most people stop thinking about it. They go, okay, so if I give up my daily coffee, I save $1,000 a year. That's nice, but it's not going to make me rich. And you know what? They're absolutely right. If we're just talking about the direct cost, this conversation would be pretty boring. But here's what most people don't realize. The actual cost isn't $1,095 a year. It's not even close. The real question isn't, what does this habit cost me? The real question is, what could this money become if I didn't spend it? Let me show you something that's going to blow your mind. If you took that $3 a day, just $3, and instead of spending it on whatever your habit is, you invested it in a basic index fund, averaging a 10% annual return, which is roughly what the S&P 500 has averaged over the past 50 years, here's what happens. After 10 years, $17,500. After 20 years, $55,000. After 30 years, $164,000. After 40 years, $475,000. Did you catch that? We're not talking about $1,000 a year anymore. We're talking about potentially $500,000 over a working career from $3 a day. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Guy, that's a cute math trick, but who's actually going to invest $3 a day for 40 years? And that's exactly the problem. That's the psychological trap that keeps people broke. Here's the thing about small daily purchases. They don't feel like financial decisions. That's the whole problem. There's this concept in behavioral economics called mental accounting, coined by Nobel Prize winner Richard Thaler. Basically, we treat money differently depending on where it comes from or what we're using it for, even though money is money. When you're buying a car for $30,000, you agonize over that decision. You research for weeks. You compare prices. You negotiate. You lose sleep over whether you're making the right choice. Why? Because $30,000 feels like real money. But when you're buying a $3 coffee, your brain doesn't categorize it as a financial decision. It's just coffee. It's automatic. It's what you do. It's part of your routine. Your brain literally puts it in a different mental bucket than real purchases. There's actually a term for this, the latte factor, popularized by David Bach. But here's where it gets really interesting. It's not actually about lattes. It's about what psychologists call friction. Every single time you buy that coffee, there's almost no friction in the decision. You're already in line. You already know what you want. You tap your card, done. And the entire transaction takes maybe 15 seconds and zero actual decision making. Compare that to investing. To invest that same $3, you'd have to open a brokerage account, link your bank account, figure out what to invest in. Actually, remember to do it every single day. Watch your money, sit there, and not give you the instant gratification of a delicious beverage. See the problem? The bad financial decision has zero friction. The good financial decision has enormous friction. And this is by design, by the way. Companies spend billions of dollars figuring out how to reduce friction in spending. One-click ordering, saved credit cards, subscription services that auto-renew, drive-thrus, mobile apps with your order saved. They're literally engineering away your ability to make conscious financial decisions. According to a 2023 study by the Federal Reserve, the average American makes about 73 separate purchase transactions per month. That's over 2 transactions every single day. And here's the kicker. When surveyed, people could only accurately recall about 40% of those purchases. You're literally spending money you don't remember spending. Now, let's talk about compounding, because this is where the math gets absolutely wild. Albert Einstein supposedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. Whether he actually said that or not, he was right. Compound interest is legitimately the most powerful force in personal finance, and most people completely underestimate it. Here's how it works. When you invest money and it earns a return, you're not just earning on your original investment, you're earning on everything you've earned. Your money makes money, and then that money makes money, and it snowballs. Let me give you a concrete example. Let's say you're 25 years old right now. You decide to skip your daily $3 habit and invest it instead. By the time you're 35, just 10 years later, you'll have about $17,500. Okay, that's nice. But now let's say you stop investing entirely at 35. You don't add another penny. You just let that $17,500 sit there for the next 30 years until you retire at 65. How much do you think you would have? Would you believe $305,000? That's not a typo. You invested $3 a day for just 10 years, a total of about $11,000 of your actual money, and it grew to over $300,000. Even though you stopped contributing at age 35, now compare that to someone who doesn't start investing until they're 35. They invest $3 a day from 35 to 65. That's 30 years, which is 3 times as long as the first person. How much do they end up with? About $200,000. The person who started earlier and invested for less time ends up with $100,000 more. That's the power of time and compounding. Starting 10 years earlier is literally worth more than tripling your investment timeline. Look, I know what some of you are thinking right now. Guy, I get the math, but I don't want to live like a monk. I work hard. I deserve to enjoy my life. What's the point of saving all this money if I'm miserable now? And honestly, that's a completely fair question. This is where a lot of personal finance advice goes off the rails, because it becomes this all or nothing, joyless slog where you're supposed to deny yourself everything fun until you're 65 and can finally start living. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is this. Every financial decision is a trade-off between present you and future you. And most of us are really, really bad at caring about future us. There's actually research on this. A study from UCLA found that when people look at images of their future selves digitally aged, they're significantly more likely to make better financial decisions. Why? Because their future self stops being this abstract concept and becomes a real person they can empathize with. Right now, when you buy that coffee, you're making a trade. You're saying, I value this coffee right now more than I value what this money could become later. And sometimes that's the right call. If that coffee genuinely brings you joy, if it's part of a morning routine that helps you be productive, if it's a social thing with colleagues that matters to you, then maybe it's worth it. But, and this is crucial, most of the time, we're not actually making that conscious trade-off. We're just buying the coffee because we always buy the coffee, because it's Tuesday, because we're on autopilot. Here's what I want you to understand. This isn't really about coffee. Coffee is just an example. This is about identifying the unconscious financial habits that are stealing from your future self. According to research from Duke University, about 40% of our daily actions aren't actually decisions, they're habits. We're on autopilot for almost half of our lives. And a lot of those habits involve spending money. The average American has about 12 different recurring monthly subscriptions. According to a 2024 study by Waterstone Management Group, and get this, they overestimate how much they're actually using these services by about 2 to 3 times. We think we're watching Netflix way more than we actually are. We think we're getting our money's worth from the gym membership we've used twice in 6 months. Here's another one that kills me: convenience fees. Parking a little closer, ordering delivery instead of picking up, expedited shipping, overdraft fees because we couldn't be bothered to check our balance. These aren't planned expenses, they're friction reducers that we barely notice. A study by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau found that Americans paid over $12 billion in overdraft fees in 2023 alone. That's not people making conscious decisions to borrow money. That's people on autopilot getting nickel and dimed to death. Now, here's where this gets even more insidious. As you make more money throughout your career, these small daily habits don't stay at $3. They scale. You get a raise, and suddenly your daily coffee becomes a coffee and a breakfast sandwich. Then it becomes lunch out every day instead of packing. Then it's drinks with colleagues. Then it's ordering dinner on DoorDash because you're too tired to cook. Then it's the nicer car, the bigger apartment, the upgraded everything. This is called lifestyle creep, and it's why people making $150,000 a year often feel just as broke as people making $50,000 a year. Your expenses rise to meet and often exceed your income. There's data on this. A 2023 study from the JP Morgan Chase Institute found that for every $1 increase in income, people's spending increases by about 90 cents. We're saving just 10% of our raises on average, sometimes less. This means that if you don't actively decide to invest in your future self, the default is to spend everything you make, regardless of how much you make. The daily $3 habit becomes a $10 habit, then a $25 habit, and you end up in the same place financially, just with nicer stuff to show for it temporarily. Okay, so what do we actually do about this? Because I'm not going to sit here and tell you to just be more disciplined or stop buying coffee. That doesn't work. If willpower worked, everyone would be rich and in great shape. Here's what actually works: automation and friction reversal. Step 1: automate your investing. Remember how I said companies reduce friction to make you spend? We're going to do the exact opposite. We're going to make investing have zero friction and make spending have more friction. Set up an automatic daily transfer from your checking account to a brokerage account. Most apps like Acorns, Robinhood, or even traditional brokers like Vanguard will let you do this. $3 a day. Automatic. You never see it. You never think about it. It just happens. And here's the key: set it up to automatically invest in a target date retirement fund or a simple index fund. No decisions required. Once it's set up, it just runs. Step 2: make spending require a decision. Delete saved credit cards from your most tempting apps. Turn off one-click purchasing. Unsubscribe from marketing emails. These tiny bits of added friction will force you to actually decide whether you want something instead of just doing it. I'm not saying never buy the coffee. I'm saying make it a conscious choice instead of an autopilot habit. Step 3: do the 30-day audit. For 30 days, track every single purchase you make, not to judge yourself, just to see. Use an app, use a spreadsheet, use a notebook, or anything you prefer. Just write down every purchase. At the end of 30 days, go through and mark which purchases you actually remember. Then mark which ones genuinely made your life better. I'm willing to bet you'll be shocked by how much you spend on things you don't remember buying and that didn't actually improve your life at all. Those are your targets. Those are your future $500,000. Step 4: give yourself permission to spend on what matters. Look, life is meant to be lived. If there's something you genuinely love, maybe it actually is that daily coffee, maybe it's your gym membership, maybe it's your concerts or your hobby, then keep it, budget for it, enjoy it, guilt-free. The goal isn't deprivation, the goal is consciousness. Spend money on what actually brings you joy and stop bleeding money on autopilot purchases that don't. Here's what this is really about: the difference between being rich and being wealthy. Being rich is having a high income and lots of stuff to show for it. Being wealthy is having assets that generate income and freedom to choose how you spend your time. That daily $3 habit, whether it's actually coffee or something else, represents a choice between temporary comfort and long-term freedom. And most people choose temporary comfort because long term freedom is abstract and far away. But here's what I want you to really understand: future you is going to exist. You're going to be 40, 50, 60 years old someday. That's not an if, it's a when. The only question is whether future you is going to be financially secure or stressed about money. And the decisions you make today, these tiny, seemingly insignificant daily decisions, are going to determine which version of future you exists. So here's what I want you to do: I want you to find your $3 daily habit. Maybe it's actually coffee. Maybe it's lunch out. Maybe it's impulse Amazon purchases. Maybe it's subscription services you don't use. Whatever it is, find it. Then I want you to run the numbers, not the surface level $3 a day equals $1,095 a year numbers, the real numbers. What could that money become if you invested it for 10, 20, 30 years? Use a compound interest calculator, put in your numbers, look at what you're actually trading away. And then, and this is the most important part, I want you to automate one small investment, just one. Maybe it's $3 a day. Maybe you can only do $1 a day right now. That's fine. The amount isn't as important as the habit. Because here's the secret that nobody tells you: small changes, consistently applied over long periods of time, create massive results. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to never spend money on anything fun. You just need to be slightly better than you were yesterday, every single day. Look, I know this video probably made some of you uncomfortable. It's not fun to think about the financial opportunities we're missing. It's not fun to realize we're on autopilot with our money. But you know what's really uncomfortable? Being 60 years old and realizing you could have been financially free, but you spent your freedom on things you don't even remember buying. The good news? If you're watching this video right now, you still have time. You can start today. You can literally set up that automatic investment before this video ends. Your future self is going to exist. The only question is whether they're going to thank you or resent you. Choose wisely. If this video helped you see your financial habits differently, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. I make videos breaking down the psychology and mathematics of money every week because I genuinely believe this stuff can change your life. Now go and set up that automatic investment account. Future you is counting on you. See you in the next one.